thought today I'd talk a little bit about teams and team dynamics. Specifically, I was talking to a networking contact this week, and I realized a lot of times I have started opportunities where a senior leader just felt that something was a little off with their plan to either exit the business, retire, or even acquire a company. And after getting in and looking, it's usually that the team has people who either are well overqualified and not necessarily challenged, or in some cases, they're underemployed and overpaid, and they're keeping those things very close to the vest. So I wanted to take a few minutes and just talk about your team and just take a moment and assess, really, sit down and think about your team. Are people genuinely collaborating and challenging each other with the best of intentions? Or are they holding everything super close to the vest because they're really afraid somebody takes a deeper dive, they're going to figure out that they, in fact, are underemployed or aren't living up to everything that they could be doing, or in some cases, maybe even have the wrong people in the wrong positions. Oftentimes, I will start out with a new team and do something like a communications or a collaboration assessment. I tend to be partial to the DISC because it's super simple, it's inexpensive, and it's pretty easy to understand how to communicate with each other. Recently, I've started to use a different one that shows people how they make decisions. And it's been really interesting to see when I meet somebody and they're familiar, which is what happened to me last week with the assessment, and they start to talk about it and they talk about themselves in one of the categories. And as I'm getting to know them and we're talking about their businesses or how they're going about handling their clients, it just even becomes true to form as a business owner, how true those assessments are and how much information or data they can give you as a leader on how to best work with or bring out different aspects of your team and getting them to work together. So I strongly encourage you as we sort of have this mid-year reset, right? We're getting into July. We're starting to think about what could we do differently? How do we energize our strategy plan as we commence third quarter? So take a moment, ask yourself, is your team truly performing the way you want it to perform? Or are you just so used to how things are operating, you are willing to live with that? I've had a situation where I had two senior partners who took a beat and they realized our two junior partners aren't quite doing the rainmaking or driving the business the way we did. And what are we going to do to guarantee our pension? I also stepped into a firm that, granted, it was a different set of partners, but 100 years or, yeah, just about 100 years prior, they were really well known in the area of tax. And they were sort of the first organization people called for different things. And when the senior leadership team sat down and they realized they were no longer in that position, and the reality of it was that that senior leadership team was going to retire over the next 10 years. What were they going to do to drive their business to ensure that they themselves had retirement plans? So, I sort of look back on my career and I realize it's been a bit of a turnaround agent, but really in the area of driving high performance teams. And that's what I'm still helping my clients do. So as I've been thinking about that, I'm going to challenge you to sit quietly, ask yourself what your goal is for the second half of the year, then see if in fact you are positioned with the right team and then the right people and the right seats in that team to get you to where you want to be at the end of this year, or at least positioned to be thriving in 2026. I know, can you believe that already? But we're past the 26th Monday of the year. We're starting the second half of 2025, and I'm going to challenge you. Is your team the team that's going to get you to the next level? And if not, what are you doing about it? So like and subscribe with the button below, because I'm going to be spending the month of July talking about what it means to have a high performing team and what are some of the things that you can do to make your team hit it out of the park for you. Because if you do not have the right people in the right seats on your team with the right strategy outlined for them so that they know what they're working towards, you are really just keeping the lights on. And most of us today cannot afford to strictly be keeping the lights on with our teams.